The NAR, for me, is a well overdue piece of work that has really taken the unilateral agreement and now expresses it as a set of governance statements and rules. What we're seeing now with the network access rules is the establishment really of the expectations of, if you're a mining company and I don't necessarily see these as one in the same operator, I can be a mining company in a blockchain network and I run nodes, or I could actually be a node operator purchasing hash power and the block solving from somebody else. But certainly if I'm running nodes, then I am now beginning to participate in a responsible part of a data stack of the IP network. And this is incredibly exciting for society for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years, when we really think about the Internet of Value and how we think about producer-consumer economies of the future with microtransactions, micropayments. I need rules like NAR to underpin that journey. And to the core question, financial institutions, if they're trading derivatives or financial instruments now through smart contracts and in tokenized form, they need to know that this infrastructure is trusted and is operating through good governance. Long answer, long journey, but I think context is king when we really think about why are we emerging with this type of approach now. Firstly, from the point the white paper was originally published, that paper is referred to as a unilateral agreement. For 15 years, we've had the white paper sit as this statement of a format, of a protocol, and implying, how it would run as a network. And we've had many builders build the networks, from the mining companies to the node operators to wallet providers. And really the NAR, for me, is a well overdue piece of work that has really taken the unilateral agreement and now expresses it as a set of governance statements and rules. It's really good policy work, and it really establishes, I think, the step of maturity that this technology and this industry has been waiting for. It's always really important to put the end user or the customer first. If you put yourself in their shoes when you're building services and applications, you can start to unpick, well, what are my roles and responsibilities when I'm building technology to try and make sure that I do indeed deliver the expectations of the market or of the customer. So for finance, it's a systemically important industry. It has a very, very high reliability expectation. We all rely on our banks and our mortgage providers and the money systems. We interact with all of that ecosystem every day of the week. But really, do we ever ask, how does all of that work? And there's a lot of complicated plumbing that sits behind what we think about as retail banking or a point of sale device in a shop. Infrastructure matters. And within infrastructure, having well-planned policies, well-planned governance structures is just critical to the functioning of these ecosystems. Network access rules underpin what is, to me, the promise of digital ledger blockchain technology operating now as a protocol in amongst these other messaging systems, in amongst these existing networks. I really like the drafting of the NAR documentation, mainly because it's actually really simple and tangible to understand. It's a peer-to-peer system. So if your node is lucky enough to win the next block, you need to communicate your participation in winning that next block and share the information. So it's really just establishing good governance over messaging etiquette. There's an act called DORA, the Digital Operational Resilience Act, an equivalent catchy name by every regulator in the world. But DORA deems cloud computing and telecommunications infrastructure as critical infrastructure. And it's critical because it underpins commerce, it underpins trade. And so I think that side of the industry is actually going to find the NAR guidelines, policy, instructions really tangible, really useful. And I do expect that they will start to be synergistic with other rules and other governance models that are already in place.